Hi, this is Amla Reddy, Associate Editor for Commercial Integrator, and I'm delighted to have Megan Zeller from Peerless-AV joining in for a discussion on video walls and digital signage as part of our video wall and digital signage deep dive, which will be in the April spotlight on commercialintegrator.com, as well as in our April edition of the Commercial Integrator and Security Sales and Integration magazine. Welcome, Megan. So great to have you here today.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. So let's get started. Can you state your title and role at Peerless-AV?
I am Director of Business Development. My role is technical sales, so I focus my efforts on our direct LED mounting systems.
Wow, that's impressive. So, getting right into the video walls and digital signage at Peerless-AV, can you talk about some of the biggest accomplishments this year for the company?
Absolutely. So we just completed a massive project with Samsung at Citi Field with AMA Electric Sign. So that actually launched beginning of April, so opening day. So for the Mets. So we're very excited about that. We have a few other major projects as well. We have a cruise terminal project that should be slated to open hopefully by the fall. It's had several construction delays, and that's massive. I think there's 22 LED walls in that one. And then we have a really awesome sports bar project as well. So that one should be quite cool.
Oh, that sounds amazing. And yeah, I want to say go Mets, but I live in Boston, so it's the Red Sox. We get that rivalry, but that's pretty awesome. So, as you mentioned, you have so many projects going on, and Peerless-AV is, of course, highly regarded for its installations. Could you share some insights on why it is important for integrators and other customers to select the right products and, go about the right process? How can they achieve this?
Absolutely. So in selecting the right products, I think first and foremost, it has to be the right product for the right use case. So if it's exterior, it needs to be a highly robust product. So let's say you're in Boston, so we know that there's the seaport, and obviously you're close to water. So if we were doing anything on the exterior, we would need to do like a hot dip galvanized steel product, and then obviously powder coating it so that it can survive in all of the elements. The same would be said for indoors, depending on the use case. If it's an aquatic center, anything like that, that's a caustic environment. Same level of detail goes into protecting the structure. But then when you get into the fine pixel pitch product of the interior, your precision with mounting is important, but also doing your due diligence and verifying that the cabinets, the CADs actually match the actual measurements. Peerless-AV takes things a bit further than some other mounting manufacturers. We actually go into measuring things on a granite surface plate, making sure that the tolerances are correct. And then we actually light those cabinets up. We're testing, we're doing like thermal pixel spacing to ensure that everything is done correctly and that everything will match up perfectly. We also do a factory certified test of our mounting structures. So before we are to ship to the customer for the installation, we actually mock up a variety of pieces of that with the cabinets on them to ensure that everything will be flawless when it goes on site, so that there's never any guesswork or any questions, that it's done right the first time.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of dedication and personal attention to every installation, and that's pretty awesome. And yes, Seaport is a great area. I do not live near there, but it's also awesome. Uh, so yeah, what are some other installation best practices besides all of the ones that you mentioned for integrators to keep in mind?
So understanding the use case, understanding where the project is, like what we're installing. It's really important to look at, can the wall support the weight? If they don't have drawings from the building or structural, a lot of times then we would propose doing something like a floor to wall solution. So then we're putting the major load of the wall directly on the floor and then just tying back to the wall. So that really takes some of the guesswork out. Also eliminates any issues. Grade 5 finish is the expectation in building codes as far as a wall being perfectly plumb. I think it's a very slight variance over about 10 feet. Most of the time, those walls are never truly built to that. So in order to ensure that it's done right. My recommendation is always going to the floor, tying back to the wall. Therefore, it's a perfectly plumbed surface that we, build ourselves and can control. But getting into if we are attaching to the wall, it is something where I like to talk through this. Obviously, that grade 5 finish, we ask for like a 3/4 inch plywood backer. We ask for furniture grade or marine grade plywood, so something that's pretty high quality, that's pretty robust. And also with that, we're asking that that plywood be painted as well. If you paint the plywood, it would stop any thermal expansion. So it's going to seal up the wood. So as the LED wall is heating up, it's not going to expand and contract as much as it would if it were unpainted. So I like to use the example of, let's say you have a piece of wood outside or a door. We know that, in humid environments, when it's a bit damp outside, it's going to expand and contract. So if we're able to seal that off and do all we can to eliminate any additional places of failure, I think that's truly best to lay the right foundation or have the right mounting canvas behind the LED wall. And these LED walls are getting they're using very tight pixel pitches now. So, a couple years ago, a 2.5 millimeter pixel pitch was like the accepted pixel pitch of a wall, which is the viewing distance that would be acceptable for that LED wall. So now we're looking at people using a 0.5 or a 0.7 or a 0.9. And that nomenclature, when we say 0.5, 0.7, 0.9, that's what the pixels are spaced apart. So it's something where precision is really important. And those are obviously delicate. So having the right mounting canvas, having, thermal spacing and all of these other things factored in ahead of time is going to make the installation a lot easier, but also future-proofing your design. So if you have the proper foundation, that LED wall is going to look great. Especially with a mounting system like ours, you will have adjustment. Where if you were to use like an OEM mount provided by the manufacturer of the LED cabinets, typically those do not have a lot of precision adjustment, so you're not able to get rid of all the visible seams and space pixels properly.
Wow, yeah, I think you make a great case for precision and customization and future proofing, and I think that's definitely part of the best practices. As part of my wrapping up, I wanted to ask you, is there anything that I have not asked but that you would like to spotlight for our audience?
Yeah, I'd be glad to talk more about Peerless-AV and our services and what we do. We have full installation services. We also offer partial installation services. So we are there to hold the hand of the customer every step of the way. So whether that's, full involvement or whether that's, partial involvement or just someone there to assist, to lend a hand who knows the structure. I think that's really important to let people know, is that we will be there alongside them to ensure that their project is a success.
Absolutely. And I think that's why Peerless-AV continues to be a highly regarded company in video walls and digital signage. And thank you, Megan, for spotlighting all of that. It was a great pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Once again, this is Amla Reddy from Commercial Integrator, and our video wall and digital signage deep dive coverage will be in the April spotlight on commercialintegrator.com. Also, check out the video wall and digital signage deep dive in the April issue of Commercial Integrator and Security Sales and Integration. Thank you.